Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I've just realized that this isn't a plane. I've been driving a bus the entire time. I genuinely thought that I was at the controls of a plane, and I'm now beginning to wonder why it felt like we were flying through the air. I must have been taking some really good uppers. I'm gonna need someone to come in here and fly for a bit. I mean, drive. Oh.
Kyle.
You mean Captain?
Captain Snow.
Yes?
Who is that 3 seats back of Rusty Cannon? Is that bald guy?
Is that Kurt Angle? Is Kurt Angle on this flight?
No, man, I think that's Is that Agent 47? I think he has flying experience.
Agent 47 doesn't look like that. We've already done that bit. Hey, everybody.
He's older Agent 47.
I think it's Kurt Angle. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to
Okay.
MLB The Show 18's Road to the Show.
Claude Julian.
You're right, it is Claude Julian. With
Jesus
Kyle Snow
Christ.
and Chris Miller. Like a little bit.
We are very good friends with the man beside us.
Yes. With our who's that guy look like? I want to say he looks like a musician of some sort.
A better looking Dan Reichert.
Oh my god, no. He looks like Scott Rogowski a little bit. Our boy from HQ.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, well, Ryan would know. When Ryan watches this episode, because Ryan does watch this show, you'll know. Yeah, so real quick, I wanted to say...
We're trying to get to the majors, by the way.
We are definitely going to get to the majors. Fucking Bowie Bay Sox, come on. Do you remember, Chris, how I made that joke about how I was like, man, can you imagine if this shitpost tweet that I make is the thing that gets us noticed?
Mm-hmm.
So we got a single like on the tweet by someone named Ari Shapiro with 41,500 followers, who's a sports journalist, host and producers of the @Jays Journal and Habs vs. Leaf podcasts. So either this guy is a fantastic journalist, or he has an amazing sense of humor, or he's a really bad journalist who thinks that Rusty Cannon is a real person. However, thanks, that guy. You're all right.
I've never heard you say that before.
Say that you're all right?
No, the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we never had a conversation about this. Are you going to make the dub?
Oh, it was worth it.
Was it worth it? Because you didn't get
It
there.
was. It was worth the attempt. We're up 3-0, Kyle.
I think you could have just also, stayed. Your base running aggressiveness has always taken a pretty big hit based off of all of the stolen bases that you don't get to.
Except all the stolen bases I get also improves my
Yeah, but don't you?
aggressiveness, so.
I think that if you go 1 for 1, you lose on those. That's a little bit high.
I'm not 1 for 1 though. I'm like 70 for 90. You checked this already.
No, I'm saying but if you're you have to be like that in order to make any sort of progress because you lose so much. Is that gone? No.
But base running aggressiveness also doesn't matter.
But it matters to me, Chris.
But in reality, it's only a simulated feature.
Still got that guy to third. Worth it. Worst thing is if that guy had stayed at second, he could have probably gotten home. Also, can I just say, this might be the fastest game we've ever played on this feature.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It's gotta be faster, yeah.
We're 3 minutes into the game, and it's the 9th. The part where we haven't... I know we got on base with that one, but we haven't been on base has probably sped things up a bit.
I mean, sure.
Oh, not getting on for this one either. I like the slide attempt.
You always got to slide. I'm not
Slide's gonna
sliding,
slide.
you trying. I mean, come on.
It's hard to argue with that logic. So we're at what, like 1 for 4, 1 for 5? Hey Chris, also I want to say on that throw, real good job not falling asleep.
Thank you. I'm
How was
pretty
work
awake.
today? Did you stay awake?
I actually did fall asleep on my break.
Okay, well that's fine though, because it's your break. Did you set an
Well, I
alarm?
mean, No, I fell asleep for like 15 minutes longer than my break. They don't care. There's been a big, like,
398! Son of a bitch, Chris!
there's been a big ice storm here, so we had no customers.
There's a big ice storm in mid-April.
Yeah. Dude, the power's been out for 3 days in Ottawa for some areas.
Wow.
Mine was out all day today. And the power went out 4 times at work.
That's unfortunate. Let's hope that doesn't happen
Yep,
while we're...
they had to cancel the Blue Jays game today. And you might remember, they have a dome.
Yeah.
That's because there was ice falling off the CN Tower and damaging the stadium.
Wow. That's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, April 17th, in case anyone's wondering, day of recording, because they're going to be like, how's there an ice storm in May? There's not. I mean, there could be, fucking, we don't know. But...
Global warming. Fuck it, Trump.
I mean, he would use that as an argument against global warming and say something like,
He doesn't understand
that
what
means it's
warming is.
getting colder. Yeah, because it's actually called climate change. Chris, we need to get back above 400. Can we...
Yeah, I know. Alright, here we go.
So maybe a few more...
He's out.
You fucking idiot. What kind of dumbass goes for a steal attempt and then just loses it like that? What a dick.
I don't get caught very often. Not that way.
No, not like that. Usually when you get caught, it's jumping back to the bag. You do that every time, and I will never understand it.
Dude, the game automatically does that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just like to take it a little bit further.
This one.
Dude, why are you throwing over? I'm gonna be running regardless. It's 3-2, 2 outs.
Go home, Chris.
I can't see. Son of a bitch.
Alright.
This guy can't handle it.
Can't handle the cannon. The rusty cannon?
He's not rusty today.
No. What?
I caught it on the fly.
Okay.
So he's automatically out.
Yeah.
Do you know baseball rules, Kyle? Come on.
Yeah, no, I looked over at the recording to make sure everything was okay, and then when I looked back, I had missed things.
That's fair.
Because the capture is like 3 or 4 seconds behind. Just for those at home, like, I'll take a look. Like, that's the swing, and that was the swing for me on the other end. Both of the times I said the word that. So it's like, okay, like if you look back, check out, see if something looked okay, and then you look back, you will miss a few things. It's not going to happen, Jimmy. Just fucking throw your ball. 78 speed, you think that guy's going to get caught? Fuck no. Yeah, that was unfortunate because that one was probably still like a strike. So
It was.
Yeah, terrible. Like you're never gonna get a good hit off of that, right? Nor that one, but luckily you don't have to. So when they cancel a game in baseball, is it usually like full on
That's okay. Is it usually like full on canceled, or do they like when? How do they reschedule those? Because those guys don't have like a break day for you to make it up.
So usually you have a day off. So what they'll do is they'll have a double header. They'll play in the afternoon and play at night.
Okay.
Or they'll do on and off day instead of making it a travel day. They'll play a game early and travel after.
Okay.
Now, in some cases, games can get like postponed for a couple months.
Yeah, like you might have to, right? Oh.
And wait till the next time you play them, right? Something like that.
Yeah. If it's like the end of the series or whatever, and it's like, no, we can't fucking not be like we have to go to this other city now, so we're out. I got you.
So I think the Toronto game. So the Toronto's had their last. This is now 3 games in a row that have been postponed
because of the weather.
Yeah, 2 of them in another stadium. So I think they play a doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
That must
Assuming
be fucking.
The weather's good.
That must be fucking exhausting for the players.
Often you'll see guys maybe not only play one of the 2. They'll give some guys a break.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some players who are gonna have to do both. You're not putting in like the entire.
It's really hard on the pitchers, though, right?
Yeah.
You throw your routine off completely.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Because like your starting pitchers are still only gonna throw once, but they're coming back up like a day or 2 earlier than they normally would be.
So you might be preparing for one team, and all of a sudden now you're getting thrown into another lineup.
Oh, okay. So there's like a. I didn't really think about this, but this makes a lot of sense. There's like a mental component, right? Like, so you might be practicing a certain pitching style because you know you're going up against like a lot of lefties or something, right? And maybe you're like weak or like a lot of like certain style of hitters, and you're trying to practice a certain thing, and then it's like, oh, okay. It'd be like if you're playing like if you're practicing strategies, like I guess like anything, like okay, like these guys are really big into this type of thing.
It's not even just that. Like keep in mind, it's so. You pitch every 5-6 days, right?
Yeah.
The key thing to keep in mind is now that they're postponed, that's a day they're not going to be playing. And your arm, when you're a pitcher, missing a start, let's say, can really throw you off.
You get rusty? Like not pun
It's not even that. I know you. Yeah. It's more of a your arm. You get so used to it being trained for a certain feeling as a pitcher.
Yeah. Do they usually? Will they still usually work it out on that day? Like.
It depends. Like it depends what happens. Like a doubleheader is always interesting, but it can be really tough. Especially you add also the fact that keep in mind in a doubleheader you're probably not using the same bullpen guys twice in a row. Because that means you have guys pitching twice in a day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors that come into play.
Yeah, and like if you have to go deep into your bullpen on game 1, like you don't have nearly as many guys ready to go game 2. Because I'm going to assume that any closers who pitch in game 1 are not pitching in game 2 at all.
In most cases, yes.
Yeah, and obviously your starters, that was never going to be a thing anyway. Mm-hmm. Do you ever see something like do you ever see like a starter get used in the bullpen, like because that wouldn't be nearly as long for them, like they'd be a little bit less spent if they would pitch.
You don't see it often, mainly due to the fact that it can throw you off a pitcher
for like starting later. Yeah. I wasn't sure if they'd be able to compensate because they only have to throw like 10 pitches instead of the usual like 70 or whatever, right?
You see that more probably in like extra inning games, where like let's say it goes 18, 19 innings, you run out of pitchers, especially in National
You're better
League.
off burning one starter instead of your entire bullpen or whatever.
Especially in the National League where pitchers hit.
Yeah. Nice catch.
You're not getting them.
Or are you? He must not have been a very fast guy though.
No, he was decently quick.
Yeah, that was pretty good though. Come on with that, through that shit. Yeah, so like it's one of those. It's like resource management, right? Like, do I really want to burn through 3 closers here, or would I be better off losing one starting pitcher and seeing if this other guy can go a day early?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot to manage as a pitcher or as a manager.
Yeah. And I can imagine things that like it'd be really frustrating when things like a sick day come in, right? Like your starting pitcher just like has the flu and you just like I can't do it today, coach. Like, all right, well I guess we're just switching our entire.
They
fucking
usually
rotation.
go running. They usually don't take a day off.
I mean, like depending on how like what kind of sick you are. Well, no, but like or something like that's like if you have like massive like I can't see straight migraines, like it's not like you're like toughing it out of the day at work at a fucking restaurant or whatever. Like I had one yesterday for like 2 hours. I just kind of dealt with it because I can do that job on autopilot. But like you kind of have to throw a ball pretty accurately.
It doesn't happen very often just because how well conditioned they are.
Well, that and like like those guys obviously have like the best of that stuff. And starting pitchers, it's what are the odds that they're gonna get sick on a day that they're supposed to be pitching anyway? Like it's kind of low.
Alright, this guy, I'm gonna play him to pull it a bit.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Didn't matter anyway, but nice call. Left fielder really should have been there for that one.
Nah. He's really excited.
So here's a question. So I know that like conditioning and rest is really, really important for a pitcher. When they're doing practice, like how like if they're like a starting pitcher will throw like roughly how many pitches in like a decent game. Like I know that sometimes they get pulled early if they're doing really poorly, or they'll stay in if they're like maybe going to get like a perfect game or whatever.
You talking about starting pitching?
Yeah, like how much roughly would your average starting pitcher throw per game?
In a good game?
Sure.
Like in a game where they pitch well?
Yeah.
Like around 100 pitches.
Okay. How many pitches will they do in like practice one day?
Oh, jeez, it really depends. Like, that's hard to say. They usually throw an entire bullpen session, so sometimes that can be up to 50, 60, 70 pitches.
Okay, I'm assuming that closers will do a significant number less because they don't like seem like they have the arm for it. Like a day of practice might be like 30
what they
minutes.
do usually is they'll have starters pitch a simulated game, which means there's no actual hitter, but you're throwing it, and you essentially face, I think, 27 batters. So 3 outs for 9 innings.
Okay.
Roughly.
But yeah, like the pressure of like you're always going to throw strikes or balls. There's not going to be a hit because how would there ever be? I feel like that would like wear you out just as much as playing a game would, though.
Definitely could. I mean, they don't throw like that, really, unless they're rehabbing or something like that. Yeah. Not as a starter.
Getting into the season, like getting into the start of the season, I imagine that's probably pretty standard. See ya, bitch! We did get every stitch of that one, baby. Oh yeah! What time is it? It's cannon time! Going for my favorite thing at third base. Woo! And then let's see it. Let's see it. What the wow.
That face.
What a wet fart of a home run that was.
It's still a home run, man.
It's still a home run, but like you can't do that to us. Where's our graphic? What kind of low budget bullshit production is this? Where's the little flying
we're
light?
in Harrisburg. What do you expect?
Oh, this is the place that looks like a fucking mall.
I kind of wonder if maybe you don't get the home run celebration on the road.
Oh, that might be it.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be kind of disrespectful to just start flying into home.
I mean, you know what? Okay, so for a regular home run celebration, I agree. But how many of these people are ever going to get to see a guy literally fly? Like, I feel like that's something for the kids, right? Also, is the flying disrespectful, or is the fucking running and tapping his wrist and then doing like that little like shuffle juke jive move at third base disrespectful? Those are the most disrespectful parts of that whole thing. The flying is literally just, I mean, I guess that the like the Matrix move afterwards is like a little bit disrespectful, but that's more like the whoever's behind us, right? That was Jansen who was being disrespectful back in New Hampshire. and that's whoever the fuck's behind us here. Is it still Smith?
I
I fucking
enjoyed it
hate that
'cause
guy.
I was watching, I think, episode 7,
Yeah.
and you were talking so much shit about Jansen. I was like, man, if he eventually
Yeah,
became a
past Kyle
boy,
doesn't know what's up. Gonna let
you
you,
were
Chris.
like,
I
man,
didn't.
Jansen doesn't really ever get us to second, does he? And I was like, I mean, he's hitting pretty well.
Yeah. I also, you see Huffman. I miss Hoffman. Every time we get close to somebody, they take him away from us. The fuck happened to Hoffman?
We'll have to look and see if he's hurt. Maybe he was called up, man.
Maybe he was. Oh, if he was called up and he gets to welcome us to the team, that's the fucking dream, right?
I mean, I don't know if that's the dream, but
I mean, the dream was getting called up with Jansen and fuck you, guy. Let that thing happen. Eat dicks.
is he playing? Huffman's on the other team.
No, Hoffman with an
It's
O. Was
Hoffman.
the other guy. That's what Huffman made me think of him. That's why I was asking. That's a name. No, nice catch. Yeah, no, Hoffman was like that guy who was. Remember, we had that one game that was like a 2-0 win, and we got on a second, and then Hoffman got that homer, and he was also tossing us the softballs in a couple of training sessions when we weren't listening to Flashdance and playing Maniac. That was. We're making some good
right
contact.
you are right that relievers don't throw as much. So, like in general, like relievers go an inning, right? So if that,
Like
an inning
maybe
is
2.
reliever, you hope to probably throw no more than 10 to 15 pitches.
Yeah. How many relievers do people usually have in their bullpen? If you've got 5 starters,
7,
7. Okay.
sometimes 8.
What would determine if
In
it's
the National League, I believe usually is 7 because pitchers hit, so you need to have a bit of a bigger bench.
okay?
That being said, I think the American League generally runs at 7.
You mean 8 at the National then? Because you said 7 for both.
No, it still usually runs at 7, but sometimes you get 8. Depends on the time of the year. Depends on injuries.
Okay.
I think the Jays are running 7 right now. But as the year goes on, there might be times where you want to have 8.
What do you have to give up to get an 8th pitcher? Like, is there a reason to?
I mean, so the way it works, you have a 25-man roster.
Okay.
That 25-man roster is made up of hitters and pitchers. So
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's like more like pinch hitters or pinch runners that you won't have access
yes,
to. Okay.
yeah, exactly. It's your bench.
Okay. Oh, okay. So when you say like a guy may not play, like if they're doing a doubleheader, those guys are all still there in uniform on the bench. It's just okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like
A bigger
you're just
pinch run, whatever it may be. Come on. I tried sliding.
That's not what you want. That win was what we wanted, though. Jesus, that second baseman has been all over our shit.
He needs to die.
Was it this guy?
So by the way, guess what my girlfriend got me watching today?
What?
RuPaul's
Drag Race?
Drag Race
Dude,
show.
Alex loves that show. Which season were you watching?
Most recent one.
Oh yeah. How did you? Do you have a favorite?
Not really. I don't know what to make of that show.
I genuinely enjoy RuPaul as a person.
I like
I
RuPaul.
really.
Just,
First of all, like the obvious like courage it takes to be able to identify yourself as as a drag queen, as a cross-dresser in the fucking like 80s, like that was not an okay thing back then. socially, obviously.
I'd probably
morally.
say Peppermint is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
In, like the 2 episodes I saw.
I'm not as familiar with the with this most recent season. I watched a little bit more of the one before it with Alex.
So Bob.
Yeah, Bob the drag queen. Bob was my
Bob
boy.
was cool. It's
Yeah.
funny. He's actually legitimately funny.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I enjoy. Oh, that's unfortunate. No, I enjoyed Bob the drag queen, but I like RuPaul. First of all, I think that dude has great style as a dude and as a lady. Because like when he like goes into the dressing room like before the challenges or whatever, he's always dressed as a man.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, there we go. Still got the RBI, Chris. Sacrificial hit.
It's not a bad show. It's just.
I mean, it's a
there's
standard reality show, but it's if you are somebody who is interested in something like Face Off, not the movie, but like the show, right? Like the concepts of makeup are interesting, and seeing the different styles of the different drag queens. Like some people are much better at doing character work, or some people are much better at doing like stuff. Doing stuff, real fucking great content right there. Ooh, that was not a good game for us. Like some people are much better at doing their costumes. Some people are better at doing makeup. Some people are better at doing sewing. Like it's interesting to see like whose skills lie where. And like obviously there's some
names.
Oh yeah, I mean the names are fantastic, right? Like especially like with the puns.
Dax !
Yeah, having a person whose name is Pheromone is pretty great.
Man, I kind of like Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm. But like
How are we doing for time, by the way?
We're at 26 minutes, almost 27
Want to
minutes.
do one more game?
We could, but we could also like we're
Let's
going into a new
it
series,
the
right?
end of
Yeah,
the
this makes sense. Yeah, like
Kyle, we're going into the last series.
oh fuck yeah, dude! And then we're gonna get called up maybe.
Hopefully.
If we get called up after tomorrow, maybe we get to play in the postseason.
The Tigers are not in the playoffs. Told you.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Their best 4 pitchers have combined for like less wins than a really good pitcher would have. Just one.
Well then.
But yes, at the very least, it'd be nice to play in the majors.
Yes. All right. Well, next time we're gonna finish the season.
See ya.
See you guys then.
Stay rusty.